What is going on, guys? Ringovidamango12 here, and we've got Ultimate Spider-Man issue 41 on screen in front of your faces. So towards the end of the previous issue, we saw Peter and Gwen go over to that party, and then destruction ensued. Everything was going crazy, and it came across because of this random guy that was blowing up cars. Now, some of you guys are speculating that this guy looks like Electro. I'm here to tell you guys that it's not Electro, it's a completely new guy, and don't get me wrong, he's actually a really interesting character, but he's not a major villain like Kingpin or Venom or Electro or anyone like that. It's just like a little bit of like a side villain that's part of the storyline that eventually leads to meeting other superheroes, so that's all I'm going to give you. But without further ado, guys, it's time to get into this issue. Let's go on over back to that party with Mary Jane and Gwen, and let's get to it. Diving into this issue, we get brought back to this party where all of these cars have been exploded, and I'm actually quite surprised that nobody cares about these cars. I mean, imagine your car being outside and this random student who's about 15 years old blows up your car. You'll be pretty upset. Now, of course, it's only inevitable that the police show up, just like it's inevitable that the police showed up when Venom was fighting Spider-Man a few issues back. So as the police begin to arrive, everyone starts going crazy, running around, trying to get out of there, trying to escape the area, because obviously nobody wants to be involved with this guy, especially Gwen Stacy, and the reason for that is because Gwen Stacy's father used to be the captain of the police force, so for her to get arrested at this party would be a major embarrassment to her and her family, and obviously she doesn't want that. And I love just how Peter always ends up saving Mary Jane, especially from being trampled on right here, when he manages to pick her up before she actually gets run over, and he actually helps her over the fence, and then Gwen turns around to help Peter over the fence. And I actually thought this was quite funny because if you think about it, Peter could literally just leap that entire fence with his eyes closed, and you can even see the look on Peter's face when she offers him a hand. It's kind of like, Gwen, seriously, you don't think I can climb this? Now, eventually, they all end up at a bus stop together, and they kind of just sat there because what you've got to remember is that these guys are like 15 to 16 years old. They're still young, they still have curfews, they're still going to get grounded by the parents if they're home late, if they find out they're at a party, especially if they find out that Mary Jane is dressed like that. Her parents would literally just obliterate her on the spot out of existence. Mary Jane has some pretty strict parents. So moving on throughout the comic, the bus eventually arrives, they all get on it, etc. And I think one of the most amazing things about the Ultimate Spider-Man comics is just the way Brian Michael Bendis writes the Mary Jane and Peter Parker character and just the relationship between those two. Are you guys getting those feels right now where you really badly want them to get together? Like, look at how cute they both are together, and they're literally meant to be. And I remember when I first read these comics and I was literally sat behind the comic page like, what are you doing? Why aren't you together yet? What are you doing? And I was just, it brings back all the feels again reading back over this comic, and I don't know what you guys must be feeling like if you're reading this for the first time, having to wait for the next issue, but I've honestly got to say that this is one of the pivotal moments in Peter and Mary Jane's relationship right here, and you'll see all of that unfold in the future issues. So Mary Jane's given Peter a letter, and you guys have probably already guessed what's on it, but if you haven't, then maybe you should comment in the comments below really quick before you find out, because Peter isn't allowed to open it until he gets home, and we go over to the next page and it's there open for us. Now, in case some of you guys can't read it, like maybe if you can't see it, I've actually put the entire letter and written it down in the description for you to hopefully make that easier for you. So if you can't read that, then just scroll down to the description below this video and it's right there for you, written out by me, and you can cry with enjoyment and be like, finally, it is happening. So as you can see on screen, Peter reads the letter and immediately sprints straight over to Mary Jane's house, and you can even see there that Peter did not hesitate to just jump straight out of his basement and go straight into Mary Jane's window. And she stood there waiting for him, and yes, Mary Jane did say that she in fact loves Peter, which is awesome. It's true love. Now obviously, if you remember me saying that Mary Jane was literally scarred for life when she got thrown off that bridge by the Goblin, and she's talking about that with Peter right now, and we're actually going to get that come up again later in the future issues. Like, it still gives her nightmares, and we're going to be hearing about family problems that Mary Jane is having with her father and her mother and stuff like that. And Peter actually, in one of the issues, actually no, I'm not going to ruin it, but Peter does something awesome to Mary Jane's father, and I mean like badass awesome. You will never forget it. But you'll just have to wait until we get up to that issue, because I can't actually remember which issue it happens in. But either way, you'll know it because I'll just freak out. Now we jump on over to the next day and we go back to Peter and Mary Jane in high school. Obviously the party happened last night, and it's got Geldof rules written across the lockers. And obviously Geldof was the guy that was blowing up all those cars with the electricity powers or plasma powers or whatever the hell he had. And you can see that all of these things are just going through Peter's head. We're back to listening to Peter's thoughts in his head again. I feel like that they've been absent from the comics for a while, but maybe that's just me because they haven't been there that much in like the last few issues. But as you can tell, Peter is ecstatic with him being back together with Mary Jane, and she actually comes up to him and kisses him on the cheek, and Flash walks over again, asking to speak to Peter. And obviously, due to what's happened in the past, everyone's kind of grown up a little bit now, so Mary Jane sticks up for her boyfriend and pretty much has a massive rage at Flash, and he just walks off like, okay, whatever. And I really love this about Peter and Mary Jane's relationship, because you can tell just by the way they act with each other that they care for each other, especially Mary Jane caring for Peter, almost like she's protecting him for once. And I love how that kind of superhero role goes over to Mary Jane like that, even though Peter could squash Flash like a bug. So some of you guys are probably wondering, what does Flash actually want with Peter? Why does he always pester him to talk to him? And I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's actually a really genuine reason. And it's actually rather sweet of him as well, so you're going to have to find that out later on in the issues. I'm not going to say anything about it, but just know that it's genuinely sweet. Now, as the issues coming to a close, we get these final 2 pages of Mary Jane giving Peter a half-made Spider-Man costume. And as you can see, Peter looks absolutely ridiculous in this thing. Everyone's going to laugh at him. He's not going to be taken seriously, and he's probably even going to be questioned whether he is the actual Spider-Man. But even your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man has outfit issues, just like the rest of us. Now, that is the end of the issue, guys, but what did you think? Let me know it in the comments section below. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10. Peter and Mary Jane getting back together is a strong thing for me in these comics. I think they're actually the 2 characters in the world that I would want to get together this badly. And of course, we had the awesome artwork from Mark Bagley again, and the writing by Brian Michael Bendis to bring it all together. Now, Peter's finally getting his costumes made again, and if I was him, I would probably ask Mary Jane to make like 100, just so that if they do break up again, then he's not stuck. But anyway, guys, that is coming to the end of this video, so let me know what you thought in the comments below. Go to the links in the description to follow me on Twitter and Facebook to hear all about the latest comic book news and updates. Also, follow me on Instagram to know what I'm doing in my free time when I'm not editing these videos. And last but not least, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button for more, and I will see you all in my next video.